Hi, I'm Mark Romanack.
And I'm Mari Romanack.
On this week's episode of Fishing 411, we're at Lodge 88 in Northern Ontario, one of the world-class walleye fisheries in this region. If you like to catch walleyes on jigs, stick around because that's what's going to happen.
Offshore Tackle presents Fishing 411 with Mark Romanack.
Gobbled up there. Look at that, he's in the bag. Look at this!
Fishing 411 is brought to you by Offshore Tackle, the leader in trolling technology. Okuma, high performance. Vicious Fishing. Northwest Ontario Tourism, there's no place like this. Jay's Sporting Goods, get in gear. And by Yakima, home of the rooster tail.
Well, I'm taking my girl fishing, taking my girl fishing at last. I just want to let you know, just say when and we will go. I won't fight and I won't ask you for one more cast, 'cause I'm just happy to have you along. Maybe I'll even write you a song about my personal best, 'cause you are my biggest catch. I'm taking my girl fishing to catch what she's been missing, and I can't wait to show her how to cast. Well, it's been a long time coming. I know that we'll catch something, 'cause in my dreams we've always had a blast. I'm taking my girl fishing, taking my girl fishing at last. Taking my girl fishing at last.
Well, in case you haven't already figured it out, my guest today is my lovely wife, Mari, who doesn't get to accompany us on a lot of these trips, but it's certainly nice that you accompanied us on this one.
Couldn't have been picked a nicer time to go. The weather is stellar, the lodge is spectacular, and the fishing is awfully darn good.
I knew you were going to love the lodge. You know, I've been to Lodge 88 before. This place is the best. You're not going to find nicer accommodations in the north. It's stellar, you're right. And the fishing is good, and the weather is good, and it's all good, man.
You take me to all the nice places, baby.
You got that right. First blood. Oh, geez, Mary.
Beautiful.
That is a beautiful walleye, Mary. Oh, Mary, that's a beautiful fish. A little closer. A little closer. Throw your rod tip this way.
Beautiful. Oh,
That
wow.
is a beautiful fish right there. Let me get that thing up here, show it off a little bit. Mary strikes first. And that.
Now that's a gorgeous one.
Good start.
Mwah.
That is a beautiful walleye. Excellent start. All right, Mary, I'm gonna put your fish back. What a beautiful walleye. You can catch him again next year. Okay. That's a good start. Holy smoke. I hadn't even had time to put the minnow bucket in the water yet. That's how fast that happened.
Hey Mark, I noticed it on these fly-in trips, there's not often a lot of women in camp. Why?
I think it plays to tradition. I think most of these trips have been based on, men, guys, brothers, uncles, grandpas, sons, that kind of stuff. And over time, I'm seeing it change. There's several ladies in camp right now, and I think that's a good thing. The only growing segment in the outdoors, the only segment that's growing, are women. That's the only part of this outdoor segment that's actually more of than there used to be. So, I mean, it is fun. And
It's amazingly beautiful. I can't imagine a woman would not enjoy herself immensely on one of these trips.
you get to spend quality time with your family, which is even more important. So. Well, one of the things I'd recommend if you're hitting a lake like this and you've never been to it before, at least for a day or two, it's a very good idea to spend a little bit of money and invest in a guide. They're going to cut down the wasted time that you spend on the water, put you on fish fast, and really improve, the enjoyment of the trip. Ultimately, after you get a feel for a body of water, you probably don't need a guide. But for the first day or two, always money well spent to invest in a guide and get a good sense for what works and why and where. There's fish. Yo! We'll see if this one's the right flavor. Oh, it's a walleye.
Walleye.
It's not as big as yours, Mrs. Romanack. In fact, this one might have just made his last bite. That one bit once and for all because he's going to be shore lunch today. Thank you, sir. Ron, how did you get started guiding and all this stuff?
Well, I was interested in getting outdoors, so that was my start. I wanted to get out here. So Lodge 88 was looking for a dock hand, someone to help around camp, maintenance, stuff like that. And I was watching the guides go out every day, and after you watch them go out almost every day, you start to get a little jealous. You're like, I'd like to get out. I'd like to get
I
out
like
there.
that job. He says, I like that job.
It was, and then so I showed an interest. I got out there fishing, and it's my kind of job.
No kidding. I hear you. Fishing's been good to me my whole life. I've done nothing but fish my whole life. I like to tell people I've never had a real job because this don't feel like a job to me, that's for sure.
Oh, well, you know what they say. If you love your work, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, that's the gospel.
Additional considerations provided by Evinrude Outboards and Starcraft Marine. Additional considerations provided by Ontario's Algoma Country.
Now something just isn't right with this. I unsnag your rod, then I am so kind as to put a minnow on your jig, and then you repay the favor by catching a nice walleye on my rod. Something just isn't right about this.
That's a beautiful
This is
walleye.
another big fish too. Oh, there is justice. It got away. I'm so bummed. Oh, I'm so bummed about that. Oh, too bad, honey. Give me my rod. Here. There you go. This is right. This is why women don't get to come on fishing trips. So, that was sweet.
Yeah.
You know what? It's actually okay that fish got away, Mary, because it would have gone back anyway. It was well over the slot limit. You're only allowed one fish over 18, and we're not going to keep any fish over 18. We're just going to keep smaller fish for the table. So he'd have had to go back. So that was a nice big fish.
Well, yeah, but I wanted to pick them up and show them off to you.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah.
Too bad, so sad. You horsed him. What can I say? This is something that's going to be an issue here today. Have you ever heard the expression that walleyes are light biters? Well, there's some truth into it. I'm using a soft plastic tail on here, and it's got a little paddle tail on the end of it, and that tail is just sheared right off. And as we've been fishing, we've been seeing this happen over and over again. The walleyes come up and they grab just the paddle tail, and their teeth are sharp enough that they shear it right off. And so you're going to go through, if you use soft plastics, you're going to go through a bunch of these. So my advice is if you bring soft plastic, bring a pile of them. If you're going to use live bait, you're going to see the same thing. Brent actually had a walleye bite his minnow in half already. And so how do you avoid that? One of the things you can do is by putting your hook point further back in the bait. If you just lip hook your minnow, you're going to get more of that effect. If you put the hook further back into the minnow, closer to his tail, what you're going to do is you're going to eliminate some of those short bites, but you can't completely eliminate them. But it's a good thing you're getting bites, but it's a little annoying when you get a bite and you can't convert it into a hooked fish. But that's the way to do it. But jigging is one of those presentations that there's a lot to it. There's a lot of different ways you can jig. You can cast them, you can drift them, you can drag them. There's just really no limit to how you can fish jigs, and that's part of the reason why they're the go-to lure up here. There's a fish right there. Definitely the go-to lure. in these parts of the world, if you're after walleye, that's a pretty decent fish. Whoa, he's not quite ready. There we go. I love it. I love it. And like I was saying, you know, jigs are just like they were designed for walleye fishing. They're that one lure that does many things very well. You can tip them with soft plastic, you can tip them with live bait, and they'll work in a wide variety of ways. This one here just happened to come on a soft plastic body, but minnows are probably the standard up here. And you get into July and August, maybe a little bit more leeches and minnows, or rather leeches and night crawlers instead of minnows, just because minnows are hard to keep alive. But that one right there, he's got shore lunch written all over him. That's a beautiful thing.
Oh, there it is.
One. There we go.
I love it.
That's good lunch size.
Come a little closer, sweetie. Whoa, man, I'll tell you what.
Beautiful.
Perky. Perky, perky. Mary, that was a good one. I think we're getting maybe one or two more like that and we'll have what we need for lunch. That was a real good one. This week's episode was set in a place called Lodge 88. It's actually part of a larger business called North to Adventure, and they have two full-service lodges here where we're at Lodge 88, and a second one called Marmac Lodge, which is on the same lake, Esnagi. You know, Lodge 88 is, as far as from a full service perspective, it's probably one of the nicest lodges that I've ever been to. As soon as you step off the airplane and step onto the dock, there's staff right there to help you, to get your luggage, to carry it to your room. Every need that you have, whether it's getting bait, getting your boat ready, cleaning the boat between your day's fishing adventures, all of that is taken care of by the staff. This place is absolutely A1 when it comes to service. Brent, well, what makes this point special? There's a million points on this lake.
Well, with this point, I like it specifically because of the rock face, the rock shoal we have that comes out quite a ways away from the shoreline. I believe the walleye, it's good on almost any wind. They blows the bait fish over the rocks, and from past experience, I found that the walleye like to eat off the rocks. I believe it makes their food more visible and makes it nice and easy for them. So that's my theory behind it.
Well, they seem to be at home today. That's cool. We've talked a little bit about jigs and the use of either minnows or soft plastics. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to do both, and I'll explain why. I've been catching some walleye on soft plastic baits here, and I'm going to tip with a minnow and a soft plastic. And you're wondering why. Well, first of all, the minnow is probably going to be more attractive and likely to get a bite. But what if you miss a fish? If you miss a fish with a minnow, you're done. Reel it up, put another minnow on it. If you miss a fish with soft plastic on too, drop it back down, 8 times out of 10, they'll hit it again, and you've got a very good chance of catching that fish. So the soft plastic is providing a service. Oops, I just missed him right there. Let's see if you get another bite. Because with a minnow on there, if you get a bite, chances are almost 100% that he's gonna get the minnow. But that plastic stays on and gives you that drop back opportunity.
Additional considerations provided by Bert's Custom Tackle. American made, American pride. Mari Romanack's Fishing 411 is brought to you in part by O.J. Herman Company.
First blood.
Oh, beautiful.
That is a beautiful walleye, man. Rod, tip this way.
Beautiful. Oh,
That
wow.
is a beautiful fish right there. There's fish.
Aerial fish on.
That one bit once and for all because he's going to be shore lunch today. If you decide that you want to fish Lake Esnagi, there's two ways that you can get here. You can either come in on the train, or if you prefer, you can come in on a float plane. Both are great ways to get here. The train obviously is a little bit more affordable, and flying is a little bit more expensive, but both are great ways to get here. We can make this work. Look at that. We can make that work. I'm not sure. This is weird.
Oh, do I have the hook?
All right, now we need a judgment call here. Our fearless guide's hook is in the fish, okay, but it's not in the mouth; it's in the bottom.
Oh,
so
that wasn't me then.
But Mary's jig, which I believe was in the mouth,
That was
fell
all
out.
Mary.
It fell out. So
Well, I figured I'd give you a little hand on bringing the fish in.
there you
I
go.
appreciate it.
There
Yes.
you go. It's perfect.
You're welcome.
Sometimes it takes two.
A guide that goes above, right?
It's that backup. plan.
Yeah.
Our adventure here was what they call the American plan, which means that they provide lodging and meals. But they also have housekeeping setups where you bring your own food and then, of course, you're just using their lodging. Either way is a winner here because the fishing is absolutely stellar. Nice job, Brent. Nice job.
Oh, look at that. Instant release. Gotta love those. Nice. There it goes. Goodbye.
There's a fish. Oh, he
There
just
he
popped off
goes.
too. I can see him swimming away right there. And I see my minnow. I
In his
see my
mouth.
minnow. Oh no. Well, he didn't get my minnow at least. He'll have to circle around and come back and get that. But
Maybe you'll get mine then.
Oh, yeah, like that.
That.
There it
Look
is.
at that.
You called it. Jeez.
look at that. All right. All right. Let's see if we can figure this out here. Oh, that is a nicer fish, Mary. It's a very nice fish.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sweet pea.
Beautiful
That's a
fish.
good one right there. We got to get a snapshot of you holding that fish. That is just a beautiful fish. Look at that. That's about
That's what I was trying to do.
that's about the max that you can lift out of the water. It's
Yeah, just that far.
sometimes you win and sometimes you lose on them. Holy smokes.
Oh, fish on.
I am amazed at this. This fishing is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Swing him over this way, sweet pea. I don't think he's ready.
Oh, that's a nice one.
That's a good fish.
That's a beautiful fish
really
right
good fish.
there.
Definitely
Good job,
too
Mary.
big.
Nice fish.
The jig that Mary just got that walleye, in fact, this is exactly the same color, is called an oddballs by Bait Rigs. And right there is the reason I chose it for today. It's a stand-up style jig, and the beauty of that is that the hook point stays up off the bottom. You snag a little bit less with this style of jig, and more importantly, when a walleye sucks it up and bites it, he's going to be hooked in the roof of the mouth. Most of the fish that we've caught today have been hooked right up in the roof of the mouth. So the oddball is beautiful because you can fish it with plastic, you can fish it with live bait, it stands up. It's my favorite jig for walleye fishing.
Additional considerations provided by Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate. Additional considerations provided by Mustang Survival. We save lives for a living. And Bait Rigs Tackle.
So, Mark, what fishing rod are you using today?
The rod I'm fishing with is actually an Okuma. It's a C3, it's a 7-foot medium light, which is just about perfect for walleye jigging. And I've got a Helios 25 series reel on here, 10-pound test braid, and then I've got it terminated all the way down to a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader that I'm tying my jig on with. And Mary's a little pink rod there. I'm not sure what that is. What is?
Kaylin.
All right, I don't generally fish with pink rods. Go figure. But that's also an Okuma, and it's been her favorite rod, and obviously it's doing a nice job for you today. If you're in the market for a jigging rod for walleye, might I recommend something with an IM8 graphite? That's a high level of graphite for sensitivity and lightness. And I would say a 6.5 to a 7-foot rod is going to be your best choice. I like 1-pieces, but a 2-piece rod is fine. And a medium light action is definitely going to be the way to go. You don't need anything any heavier than that for walleye fishing. That's pretty much the perfect walleye jigging rod. Today's walleye fishing experience breaks all the stereotypes of walleye fishing. These fish are in shallow water, 4, 5, 6, 8 foot's about as deep as we fished today. It's gin clear water, it's bright, high skies, not a cloud in the sky, and these fish biting right in the middle of the day. It doesn't make sense from what you might have read or heard about walleyes, but it's a testament to this fishery and how many walleyes are in this lake. It's an amazing fishery.
I think it's because of the dark lake.
Yeah, the tannin in the water,
Yeah.
definitely. There's fish.
Oh, there we go. Hey,
Look at
I've
that.
just seen him.
I reeled one turn on my reel handle, and the fish is in the landing net now. How much line could I have possibly had out?
There's
10
another
foot?
one. Triple header. Boom, boom, boom.
Double header, triple header. Here, I'll just land this one by hand for Mary. Just swing her over this way. It's not that big a fish.
Yeah, it's not coming up.
No, but yeah, and that's what I want to show. I really want to show. That is a hook set right there. You take a look and see exactly where that hook point is at. Right through the roof of the mouth, and that's what I'm talking about with these oddball jigs. That's what you get. Esnagi is a pike and walleye fishery. It's world renowned for its walleye fishing. It also is a very good pike fishery. We used a guide on our trip here, and I'm glad that we did. It's a big lake. It's hard to know it with only just a couple, 2 or 3 days in camp, and hiring a guide allowed us to get on fish very quickly. Definitely well worthwhile. Once you've hired a guide and learned a few spots, then you can probably fish the rest of the week on your own and do just nicely. That's not uncommon for pike and walleye to be in the same spots, though. They all eat the same things. They're fun too.
Oh, thank you.
They're fun too.
I got a fish on.
Oh, fish on.
Yours is a walleye, Mrs. Romanack.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. You just swing him over this way. You know, as long as I got the net in the water, I'm just going to be like all-time net man here again. And net man. All right, that's probably the smallest walleye we've caught today. I don't think we've caught a 15-incher today. That one's going back because we've got plenty for lunch.
So speaking of frying pans, I do believe the fishing's been quite well. We should go have ourselves some fish and start up a shore lunch.
You know, normally I close every show with a big fish. And this time we're going to do that, but with a big plate of fish. I'd like to thank Lodge 88 for helping us out on this particular adventure. They've been a great host. This is an awesome place. And I also like to thank our guide, Brent, for putting us on super walleye fishing today. My name is Mari Romanack. You've been watching Fishing 411. Hope you enjoyed the program. See you here next week.
Closed captioning for Fishing 411 has been brought to you by Cranberry Creek Marina on Lake Erie at Ruggles Beach. Fishing 411 has been brought to you by Offshore Tackle, Okuma, Vicious Fishing, Northwest Ontario Tourism, Yakima Bait, and Jay's Sporting Goods.
Fishing was a little tough today, so we're going to eat the minnows. So they make a very, very nice shore lunch, but you got to do it fast.
Oh!
Oh, did you? Oh, that was good.